don't practice enough left-handed. But if you really need enough left-handed, but if you really need to. This review is made possible by Taurus, who provided a curve for our review, the folks at Remora, who put together a prototype pocket holster, and the generous support of AmmunitionDepot.com, who provided 500 rounds of ammunition for this test. And thanks to the folks at TaurusArm.net, who shared with me all their questions they had about the curve and really helped me shape my review. The Taurus curve is made in the USA and features a patented body-contoured grip frame. Height comes in right at 3.7 inches, a length of 5.18, and a width of 1.18, an unloaded weight of 13.5 ounces, trigger pull coming in right at 7 pounds, and it is a double action but does have a reset, so it does not have double strike capability. It is a 6+1 in 380 auto, has an integrated laser light, LED light, and laser combination. The curve comes equipped with a belt or waistband clip and has a retail price of $392. Let's take a look at some of the more interesting features of the curve before we take it out to the range. The curve ships in a safety orange plastic shipping box, includes a trigger shield, spare magazine, and keys for the Taurus security system. One question everybody had is, if the grip frame is bent, are the magazines curved as well? The answer is no. The magazines are actually straight. It's just the grip frame that is curved. You see the two side by side here, and you can see the base is where the curve is accounted for. Field stripping the curve, very easy, exactly like the Taurus 738 TCP. Pull one pin from the side of the frame, and that allows the slide barrel and recoil spring assembly to slide off the frame for disassembly and cleaning. Typically you don't see angled muzzle crowns like this, and that's because angled muzzle crowns lead to inaccuracy and bullet tumbling. What Taurus has done is they've actually recessed the rifling all the way back to where the angle starts. So while there is an angle there, the rifling is very straight and very true. Taurus applies an aggressive texturing to the front and back strap of the curve, allowing for a secure hold. But as you can see, it stays right in the center of the frame and doesn't extend around the edges, which is nice because it doesn't tear up your pocket. The curve doesn't have traditional sights. Instead, it uses a through-bore sighting system, and that's those white crosshairs on the rear of the slide. In my case, I did much better using the loaded chamber indicator on top of the slide as an aiming point. The loaded chamber indicator on the top of the slide directly behind the chamber provides both tactile and visual confirmation that there's a round in the chamber. The magazines on the curve lock at the base plate. You can see directly above what looks like a thumb imprint, you'll see a hook. That hook mates with a recess within the frame and holds the magazine in place. Trigger pull, interesting. 6 pounds, 3 ounces to actually get the trigger to move, and then a very long pull and the trigger breaks right at 7 pounds. The curve arrives with a belt clip attached. It can be removed. The curve also features the Taurus security system, key locked for long-term storage. The total weight of the curve, with 7 rounds of 95 grain full metal jacket ammunition, coming in right under 16 ounces. The curve features an industry-first integrated laser and light combination. Manufactured by Laser Light, the integrated module can be easily swapped out and runs with 3 357 batteries, so a battery change is about $5. The laser and light are both activated by a switch located on the right side of the frame directly in front of the trigger. Let's take a closer look at that laser and light combination before we head out to the range. The 25 lumen LED light built into the curve will definitely help in low light situations to determine whether the person following you is indeed a threat or simply following you to return the sunglasses they saw you drop as you entered the parking facility. The light and laser module operates in 3 modes. The first mode is light only. Second mode is combination laser and light. The third mode is 5 milliwatt laser only. I really like using lasers to explore the accuracy potential of a firearm, and that's what I did. The white tape is actually reflective tape, which allowed me to use the laser in broad daylight, backed up to 10 yards, shot a 12-shot group under 2 inches. The curve was certainly accurate enough for its intended purpose. Starting out with the high-speed footage, you can see recoil is quite manageable. I'm shooting one-handed here. Take a look at the ejection of the brass. Some go straight up, some go forward, some fly back. Nothing came back and hit me in the head or in the face, so that was good. Just surprising that they were so erratic. And now I'm going to demonstrate the one-hand mag release technique. There you go. Because the magazines lock in at the base, you can either extract the magazine with the offhand or by shifting your grip, you can actually release the magazine with your shooting hand just using your thumb. Taurus includes a trigger shield with the curve, dealing with an empty firearm here. With the trigger shield, you can anchor it to your belt, to the buttonhole in the front of your pants. I've just looped it over a belt loop here for demonstration purposes. The trigger shield completely covers the trigger. Once it's shielded, you can insert the curve into your waistband with the attached belt or waistband clip, which is optional. It can be removed if you don't want it. It sits really low under the belt line, and I don't particularly like that. To draw, you actually have to push up on the pistol to expose the grip. Once you do that, as you present, the trigger shield falls away, and you now have a ready-to-go curve. Another option is just the second trigger shield. I've shortened the lanyard. Some folks may just want to drop this right in their pocket, and that's their carry method. I don't particularly like that because it leaves an open muzzle, but for some that might be fine. The trigger is covered and safe. As you present, you have to remember, grab that lanyard, pull the trigger shield free, and now you can present your firearm. My preferred carry method is with a Remora pocket holster. Alan and his team put this one together, so they actually have a curve holster available even before the guns are available. With that, you can just reach into your pocket, present the pistol. You don't have to worry about the shield. Holster stays in the pocket. So just 3 different ways I tried in the amount of time that I've had the curve and have practiced with it. Again, my preferred carry method is with a pocket holster in the pocket, but you're welcome to try in the waistband with the shield or in the pocket with just the trigger shield. Presenting from the pocket at 5 yards. Three in the 0, 3 in the -1. The curve has no sights, but you can get some decent accuracy from it if you use the loaded chamber indicator as kind of your point of reference. So now we'll just use the trigger shield directly in the pocket. Okay, again, using that loaded chamber indicator, you can get some aim to fire out of it. It was fairly quick, but it went from 3 in, 3 out to 5 in and 1 out by using that loaded chamber indicator as a visual point of reference for aiming. I put well over 400 rounds through the curve, including what we've shot today, and it's primarily been one-handed shooting. The grip is very small. One hand, it's very comfortable. Two hands, you can get a second hand on the grip, but just barely. You end up gripping your strong hand fingers. So we'll try it and see if it makes a difference using a two-hand hold versus a one-hand hold. Again, at 5 yards, we're using the loaded chamber indicator as our point of aim. Same results, one hand or two hand. We had 5 in and 1 out. I think the pacing was about the same. With the curve being curved to accommodate the right-hand shooter, there have been some questions on whether you can shoot it left-handed should your right hand be incapacitated or right arm. And the answer is yes, you can. It's not entirely uncomfortable. I have an issue with don't practice enough left-handed, but if you really need to, I'm taking my time. There's left-handed 5 in the 0. You've probably noticed the majority of the shooting I've done today has been with one hand. Most of my practice was done one hand. The curve is remarkably soft shooting for a 13.5 ounce 380 auto, and I believe that comes from the fact that it's just a little bit wider than most of your pocket 380s, spreads the recoil out a little bit more. Try and squeeze two hands on the grip. All this is really going to do is maybe help you stabilize a little bit better, but overall I found it very easy to control one-handed and prefer to shoot it with one hand. I'll give you a quick rundown and recap of my time with the Taurus curve. Has been out to the range 4 times, up to 300 rounds before this trip. Now with this trip it's over 400. 400 rounds is probably more than some people will put through their curve in a lifetime. Cleaned it last night before coming out again today. No appreciable wear internally. Some additional things that didn't get covered on the bench. The curve does have an interior slide lock, so there's no slide release on the outside of the frame. You will need to drop the magazine, retract the slide, and let it slide forward. You'll notice the curve doesn't have a traditional magazine release on the right or left side of the frame. The magazines lock up in the magazine well with the hook at the bottom of the magazine. You can either grip it with the thumb and pull down, or you can actually shift your grip a little bit with one hand and just release it the tiniest bit, and gravity drops it free. One other important point that didn't get covered on the bench, this gun does have a magazine safety. And what that means, we're working from an empty gun here. With the magazine in place, listen for the click. Okay. Reset the hammer. With the magazine out, you can pull on the trigger all day long and it's not going to function. The magazine must be in place for the trigger to be pulled. Okay, one additional kind of safety feature. Some folks like that, some folks don't. At least now you're aware of it. So what's the final verdict with the Curve? I like it. I carried it in my pocket for like 6 weeks. I mean, I've had this for a while now, just waiting on good weather to get out to the range and get the video wrapped up. Very easy to carry. I carried it shield only in the pocket. I carried it in a pocket holster. I did try a couple of days in waistband with the included belt clip. Didn't like it. The belt clip sits very high on the frame, so it's up and out of your way. You don't even notice it when you shoot the gun. But unfortunately, it sits way too low below the belt line for me. And then the fact that you actually have to lift it to draw, just not my cup of tea. My preferred carry, again, is in the pocket holster because it does keep the muzzle from accumulating any lint or dust that may be in your pocket. Well over 400 rounds through the Curve now. Just had one issue with failure to feed using Blazer aluminum cased ammunition. Just I avoid that one. No problem with the half dozen other ammunition I've run through the Curve while I've had it. For you folks that are left-handed, I know there's a lot of questions about when a left-handed version will be available. The latest information I saw was actually a video taken at the SHOT Show earlier this week, and the Taurus representative said that the engineering is currently working on a left-handed version. So when the right-handed ones come out, all you righties go out there and buy one, show Taurus there's a lot of demand for the Curve. This is the very first time I've actually had the pistol before the documentation was available. The manuals are still being printed, kind of the downside of getting an early release pistol. Functionally, it's been fantastic. I can't tell you what the documentation is going to look like. I just followed the 738 TCP manual. Very, very similar construction between the Taurus TCP and the Curve internally. So as far as takedown, one pin, pull it, gun comes right apart. As far as availability, looks like Taurus is slating February 2015 for the release of the Curve, and that's next week. So hopefully by the time you view this video, the Curve will be available at your local firearms retailer. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Run out and get you a Taurus Curve. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you like the channel, go ahead and subscribe.